Hello, welcome to the Irish Independence League of Ireland preview video, joined today by Dan McDonnell to look ahead to a big week in League of Ireland football. Obviously, the two League of Ireland clubs beginning their European campaigns this week, Shelbourne and St Patrick's Athletic in the Champions League and Conference League qualifiers. And there's three League of Ireland games to look ahead to across Friday and Saturday as well, Dan. But I suppose there's really only one place to start. Shelbourne, Joey O'Brien's Shelbourne, are back in the Champions League for the first time in 20 years this week.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think sometimes you can always describe everything as a big game or a huge game, and sometimes there's hyperbole with it, but it's fully deserved in this instance. Like, this is as big as it gets, and when you throw in all the subplots, like, I think this Champions League round is a massive round every year for the Irish club. It's year defining potentially. You're talking about, guaranteed three more ties, a really, really strong chance of group stage football, or certainly a high percentage chance of group stage football with a bit of luck at the draw if you get through this tie. But then, I mean, so it's big anyway. It's big if Shells are playing, a team from Armenia. But then the fact that it is Linfield, it's an all-island derby, and also is the fact that it's Joey O'Brien's. He's doing it on his match day -1 is effectively almost his first sit-down press conference as Shell's manager. So you had that massive story a couple of weeks ago of Duff's departure, Joey O'Brien's appointment. So all these elements are just creating this.
Just on the match itself, Linfield, going back in the history books, having more European experience than Shelbourne. Obviously only the fourth time they've faced a team from the Republic of Ireland in European competition. Just on the match itself, Shelbourne will be favourites for this one, but it's such a massive game. Knockout football, obviously everything that's on the line. How do you see it going? Obviously with the second leg come Belfast.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, you can't get away from the fact of the seasons. I mean, that's the big part around this tie, like that Linfield are coming into a pre-season. And interestingly, you look at how the Linfield club, the top sort of the Irish League champions, had done in the last 5-6 years in this round. They generally lost, with the exception of Linfield being TNS 1 year, when TNS, of course, were also in pre-season. And in the years where the Irish League club, there was 1 year where Larne pushed Helsinki quite close, but otherwise, when they've played a team in a summer season, they've lost. So that's obviously a massive plus for Shell's prospects. The flip side is that you often assume that the teams playing in the Champions League round are maybe the best team in their country at that point, that they're in good form. You have a lot of like serial winners. The problem with Shell's is that for them, it's Europe is still relatively new for some of the players, and the new management team is, as you've said. So Linfield have been around the block a little bit more in some cases in terms of these type of ties. Chris Shields, big player, missing the first leg. They lost two big players to Coleraine. I think as an unseeded team for Shells, I do believe that this is the best draw they could have got. That's not to be disrespectful to Linfield. I think it's just probably a fact of maybe some of the options that were available. Maybe a team from Gibraltar was maybe a slightly better draw. When it came down to the last two, it was Linfield or the club.
And just on the match itself, obviously reduced capacity at Tolka, only 200 Linfield fans come down, isn't it? It's going to be a raucous atmosphere at Tolka Park. But I know you were at Larne against Shamrock Rovers last year, but we're expecting a tighter game this time than last October.
I would think so, yeah. I mean, I suppose like Larne was obviously, I think like Larne was, they were in season as well. I mean, Rovers really destroyed them, but that was a much more experienced and savvy European side. I think there's different opinions on this tie. Like, I think a lot of the sort of stats people are making it very 50-50. I think the betting seems to be very much weighted that way, probably across the tie. And I think that's based on the factors we're talking about. But I think there's a lot of Shell's advantage here. Like, there's no doubt for me that if Shells don't get through this tie, they've missed a big opportunity, because as an unseeded team, let's play a team. Where would Shells finish if they were in the Irish League? I think if that squad and their budget, they'd expect to be up around where Linfield are, and they're playing them at better time for Shells. So, I mean, you have to have a lot of respect for Linfield, and they're sort of, experience they have in the group. But it's a funny one because talking about the Balkans atmosphere, we'll see. I mean, you'd assume it will be. But I kind of wonder, will Linfield have looked at Shells this year? At times, Shells have really struggled in games where they've been allowed to have the ball and they've gotten a little bit frustrated. They can see bad goals. And I kind of wonder, I'm interested to see what Linfield's approach to the tie will be. Because weirdly, I think if they were chasing going back to the second leg, I don't think that would be too inconvenienced for Shells. They would need go at his pace. I kind of wonder, will Linfield just go in for it in the first tie just to shut up shop a little bit? So I think there's a rationale in seeing how you frustrate Shelbourne that way. Or will it just be a derby and it all goes out the window, which becomes a sort of a slugger match?
An absolute massive European night away to Talca Park on Wednesday night. And the same goes for Richmond Park on Thursday, with St. Pat's kicking off their Conference League campaign at home to FC Hegelmen of Lithuania. And Dan, for Stephen Kenny's men coming into this game, from their point of view, they're really hoping this European campaign can really just kickstart their season and bring the good vibes back.
It has to. Yeah, I mean, there's no... It's the obvious point to start, and yeah, I watched them last Friday against Bows. I don't think they were particularly bad in that game. I think maybe some of the negative views of that is based on the collective run of form and the frustrations. Another game where they haven't scored, they haven't won. They get isolation. Okay, I'm not saying it was a great performance at all, but again, Bows are going well at the moment, and Pats were very competitive in the game. Just finished a bit slowly, which is a slight concern. The one thing about Hageman is they're mid-season, so you don't have any sort of fitness advantage here. But they have good players, they have really, really good players who are low on confidence. And I feel at some stage it's going to click for them in the coming weeks. I kind of wonder with this game, this is Hageman they're not a big supported team. I'm not sure if they have any travelling fans at all.
Only founded in 2009.
Yeah, they're a bit of a sort of a... I saw someone described it as a sporting Fingal type effort. No offence, I know you had a Fingal affection, but so I kind of wonder. I think there was you could sense in the second half last week against Bows, and Bows were getting on top. Bows fans are and then the Pats fans are getting a little bit jittery and frustrated. You kind of wonder, is the European ties be different mood, very much a home match, and then 100% a home match, and there's just more of a collective focus, and that they don't get frustrated if they start slowly, because I think the fear would be they haven't scored in a while. They start the game slowly, the people go, here we go again, and they almost need to just reset their feelings towards it. I just have some feeling they're gonna get a performance in this tie, but I'm not sure what that's based on. We're guessing a bit about the level of the opposition. I mean, the Lithuanian teams in recent seasons they're okay. Some of them have had some very poor results. It's very hard to get a read of levels. We are all guessing with it.
St. Pat's, obviously massive Conference League tie ahead on Thursday evening. Dan, 2 League of Ireland games on Friday, 1 on Saturday. I suppose the pick of the 3, possibly Bows against Galway. Bows coming in back-to-back draws. Obviously still with that gap on Shamrock Rovers. I know you saw Bows last week as well. Galway coming into the game, but a tricky run of form as well. So it's probably the pick of the 3 games this weekend.
I think that'd be a bit harsh on the other 2 games. I think so. I think Munster Derby, when Waterford have conceded 7 last week, and Derry going to Sligo, I think all 3 games are equally interesting, to be honest. I think, Galway have sort of been probably post Moses Dyer, but I think they've just been toiling a little bit, losing and drawing last week. I think that is a game, I don't know. I'm not sure what type of football contest that's going to be. We've seen Galway go to Tala, Derry, and tough it out a little bit and get results. Again, does that frustrate Bows sometimes? So I think it's a big test for Bows to see how they handle it. Waterford and Cork City. I mean, that's the Cork City story in general at the moment. Is an interesting one. I mean, they haven't got the bounce at all really under new management.
I'll come against Celtic.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's sort of a friendly thrown in. It's just sort of for sake of a few quid, but the real stuff that matters is this game, and yet you've got Waterford if you've conceded 7 goals. So you'd imagine there's a response from them. Is there a response from Cork City? Just seemed a bit fraught and tense at Talca last Friday. Manager having a go at Charlie Lyons. I think they brought on Fikar Keller at half time. Will they bring in more new signings? It's not a great vibe there at the moment. So I think that game it's got a lot riding on it. Then in terms of Saturday, Sligo Rovers, the Derry City. It's just Derry on a second. Are they going to step on as it's really try and chase down Shamrock Rovers during this break. The Rovers have. But the flip side is one of the best games of the season was last Saturday, Sligo Rovers and Shamrock Rovers. Sligo Rovers seem to have a bit of a head of steam coming out of the break. They've got the momentum, the course, but wish they have. So that's a big test for Derry. So yeah, Bo's Galway for me, not to pick at a game.
Well, 2 massive European games this week for the League of Ireland clubs and 3 League of Ireland games to look forward to later this week. We'll be across all the latest coverage here on the Irish Independent.